All right. Hello and welcome to Lunch Therapy. I'm going to bring on the old Facebookers and let's get this thing going. So good to be here. We're underwater. This is kind of cool. This is the intro to the show. This is a show where we let go of all the horrible things that are going on in the world and step in here. So come on in. Come on in. We're hanging out here underwater. We're going to do some breathing. And this is a little thing called lunch therapy. For those of you that are new to lunch therapy, you can make comments on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope even, which is Twitter. And a lot of times we put them on the show. It's much more interactive than other shows. Like there's a comment right there from Camila Lopez. Lanternfish, which is this up here. Next week, perhaps, is Ocean Week. Not sure yet. It is approaching, but I think it might be Ocean Week. Boo! Holy. Yes, so this is Paranormal Week, so things are kind of scary around here. Not really anything life-threatening, though. I want to be under the sea. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I highly recommend it. Maybe on your next Zoom call, you can be underwater. Hi, Sue. It's great to see you. We are going to read a few more horror scopes. I'm calling them horror scopes today. We never got to some people. I know, I think Jose said he was a Gemini. We got to do Gemini. How am I breathing underwater? This is the magic of cinema. The magic of cinema. Okay, let's do it though. Let's breathe. I don't recommend breathing underwater, but I'm going to do it. But definitely don't try this at home. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Doesn't rhyme. Doesn't really rhyme. Hold it. Aries. Yes, we'll do Aries. And yes, we're going to do Jose's Gemini. These are horror scopes, remember, though. There's Mary. She was on the show yesterday. Thanks for being on the show yesterday. Let it go. I held my breath for a little longer that time. Our CIA likes to have folks breathe underwater. Well, that's pretty interesting. All right, let's breathe in through the nose. And then let it out. By CIA, I assume you mean the Central Intelligence Agency and not the California Institute of the Arts or the Cleveland Institute of the Arts, where my father attended, because I don't think they do that there. I'm pretty sure. Okay, one more time. Coming in through the nose, out through the toes this time. Holding it. Let it go. Yes, everything is the best. Everything is the best and everything's going very, very well. We're moving on to the horror scopes. We are having a little bit of politics in the chat room, which is fun. It's fun. All right, here we go. Horror scopes. Yeah, so we're out in space again. We're gonna read some of the horror scopes. These are from Brenda Meisel. They are 1979 horoscopes, but we're calling them horror scopes. And the first one is going to be Jose, who is a Gemini. May 21st to June 20th. You are a quick and intelligent thinker. People like you because you are bisexual. You are inclined to expect too much for too little. This means you are a cheap bastard / bitch. That's what it says. I'm just reading it. It's the weirdest one yet, Gemini. Jose, so there you are. There you are. So now Aries. I know a lot of Aries. A lot of my people that I know are Aries, which is kind of just another way of saying I know a lot of Aries. Here we go. You are the pioneer type and think that most people are dickheads. You are quick-tempered, impatient, and scornful of advice. You are a prick. Does anybody else want to have their horoscope read? Anyone? Cosmic Intergalactic Association? That's right. That's the CIA. There's no water to be holding people's heads under in the Cosmic Intergalactic Association. So yeah, for those of you joining also, the chats come in late. And so I get them and I try and process them from looking back into the past, which is fun. It makes it super fun. Like Jose says, 100% right. That's him. That's totally, I know these are super accurate from what I understand. I mean, they're hard to take. They're strong words, strong language for 1979. Oh, a positive one. I don't remember the positive one. And we have Ben McKnights all the way from Australia talking about the unnameable. Must be an Aries. Is it time to breathe yet? We've breathed. But let's take in another breath because we need it. Taking this in all the way into my lungs. It's going all the way into my lungs. It's not just going to my throat. It's going into my lungs, the bottom of my lungs, and I'm going to let it out. I got a lot of things to get to today. We've got 2 people coming on for little short little pop-ins to tell us some horror stories. Let's get to the first one. This guy's name is Tom Kearney. He is the host of the Quarantine Comedy Show. He would want me to say that. It's a really good show. It's every week on the weekends. So when there's no lunch therapy, you can watch Quarantine Comedy Show. Here's an Aries comment. So accurate. Stop with the breathing, dickheads. Yeah, it's good because, you know, at my work, they had us categorized into different colors of blue, just primary colors, blue, red, green, Roy G. Biv, blue, red, green, yellow is what they had. And they classify people by the way they like to be treated. You know, some people like to get a lot of information. Some people like to just be sunny and friendly and sociable. Other people, you know, they just want to get things done. And so they've put people in these different boxes at work. So you even can put, you know, what color your tendency is on your page at work so that people know how to deal with you. I don't know. Interesting. I'm not big on like classifying people because I think people are more fluid and malleable than that, but I don't know. Quarantine Comedy Show. Tom Kearney. He's going to pop in. He's going to tell us a little scary paranormal story. Here he is. Hey, Tom, how's it going?
Hey, things are good, Joel. Things are good. Good to see you.
Been watching your show.
Oh, cool,
Quarantine Comedy.
Yep, it'll change your life.
The Quarantine Comedy Show.
Yes.
With Tom Kearney. I highly recommend it to my viewers.
Yes.
But I hear
the world.
I hear that you have a paranormal story.
Well, you know, I do. Okay, so my mom and my sister and I, we spent a Thanksgiving with some friends in Compshe, California. It's up in the Mendocino coast.
Oh,
it's up inland from Mendocino, the little town of Mendocino, that little village, the fishing village. I went to Mendocino Middle School actually when I was younger, and so we spent Thanksgiving with these folks. They had an old farmhouse. It was actually the old stop for the stagecoach back in the old days. And they said, you know, this house has been around for a long time. You hear some things and things can be a little strange, but we're glad you're here and have a good night's sleep. So in the middle of the night, there was a piano downstairs. We heard the piano playing. And my sister and I ran down, and there was no one there. So we just ran back up.
Wow.
And then the next morning at breakfast, they were like, oh, yes, we probably should have. Sometimes that happens. So I don't know really what the hell that meant, but
Wow.
I don't know if anybody was playing a joke or anything, but there it is. One time, my wife and I were on a motorcycle up in Marin County, and we saw something in the sky, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And we pulled over the motorcycle, and when I looked up, it was gone. I don't know what the hell that was.
You
Um,
know, there's a lot of ghosts in Northern California, I believe. We're going to have some people come on and tell some stories about Northern California ghosts. I think it's a highly paranormal area, I think.
well, I did a TV show called Ghost Scene Investigators, and it was a kids show. Our kid Taylor Mason was in it. She was one of she was a field investigator, and what these kids did was it was
Okay, everybody, that was Tom Kearney. He started, going off on a long, involved story about a show that he had been developing. This is what we do here in Los Angeles. We're always pitching. We're always pitching. So I thought maybe we had to get on with our show. So thank you, Tom Kearney, for coming here and talking about Quarantine Comedy Show. And, if you want to find out more about the Ghost Hunter show that Tom was talking about, just give him a call. I invite you to give him a call. And, we're always pitching in Hollywood. This is in the Wood. We call it the Wood. Nobody calls it the Wood. I think the Wood is actually Inglewood, which is pretty close. So anyway, we're always pitching ourselves, just like when you go to the LA doctors. You go in there for anosmia and you come out with a whole bunch of brochures about how to laser your crepey skin. Always upselling. ABC, always be closing, right? What's his number? Yeah, let me just get you Tom's number here, and I'll put it on YouTube. No, it's very interesting. I didn't mean to cut him off. It's actually a great story. It's just I don't have enough time for his ghost hunting kids stories. Stop referring to your wood, because we gotta move on. This show is moving forward, and one of the things that I have noticed, I just want to stop and take a look at Paranormal Week and figure out, like, what is it? Because mainly it's been ghosts. Everybody, has like a little anecdote maybe about a spaceship or Mary, who is an alien. But we haven't really heard a lot of abduction stories or anything like that. So mainly we're focusing on ghosts. Behind me is the elevator. Does anybody know where that elevator's from? Well, I'll tell you, because everybody's talking medical talk on my end here. This is at the Millennium Biltmore Hotel, and the hotel elevator, this one, apparently doesn't work. And one day it opened up, and they were like, what the hell? Why is it opening? Always pitching wood. Is that legal in California? That's right. The Shining. That was a good guess, because this is The Shining. This is the elevator from The Shining. See, elevators are scary. That's my point. Elevators are super scary, and Stanley Kubrick knew this. This was even just like a teaser ad, I think, for the movie. I don't even know. I mean, it's horrifying. But elevators are scary. And also, Tom, when he started going off on his long pitch session, in Hollywood, we have a thing called the elevator pitch, which means, and I'm sure all of you salespeople know this, you get on an elevator with somebody, by the time you get off, you have already sold them. In his elevator pitch, he was talking about how they went to a ghost town. And the thing that's weird about a ghost town, I think, is a ghost. I mean, if you're doing the afterlife right, you're haunting a place where there are people, right? You're trying to scare people or mess with people or do funny things, open the elevator when the elevator doesn't even work. If somebody walks in there, they fall into the pit of hell. That's fun. That's fun. But if you're in a ghost town, I mean, what are you doing? And if there's nobody there, nobody living there, you're kind of wasting your time, right? I mean, there's nothing sadder than a ghost in a house and nobody's there. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie with Casey Affleck about the ghost. There are times where he's just in there by himself, and it's just the saddest thing I ever heard. Where ghosts should be fun, right? How they get so much cherry juice, exactly, in The Shining. They get it. They get it in bulk. Stanley Kubrick used to get it in bulk. I need 7,000 gallons of cherry juice by tomorrow. We're making a movie here. That's what you say when you're making a movie. You're just like, we're making a movie. Yeah, failed afterlife. So if you got a failed afterlife, you're not in a fun venue. There's no elevators around. So a lot of ghosts, they haunt hotels, entertainment spots, or houses where there are people. I tried to get Scott Amy on the show. Scott Amy is a guy I went to high school with, and he tells this story about these other guys we went to high school with, Bill Vanette, and I don't know, this other guy, can't think of his name, but they lived in a house. This is a live show. They lived in a house, and they got a really great deal, kind of like in the Amityville Horror. They didn't know why. It was super cheap. They were paying like, I don't know, $50 a month or something for an entire house. And Scott went over there, and he was in the garage, and he's talking to them, and there was this loud, like, boom, 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 going on up there. And, he was like, he said to Bill Vanette, he's like, oh, I didn't know, this other guy, let's call him Joey, because I don't know his name. Anyway, I didn't know Joey was upstairs. Why doesn't he come down? And he's like, oh, Joey's not upstairs. And he's like, well, I hear him thumping around, boom, 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 walking back and forth, boom, boom, boom. And this is in the middle of the day. And Bill Vanette was like, well, I don't know, go up there and take a look. So Scott, walked up the stairs. That was a Muppet walk. He walked up the stairs, and there was nobody up there. And I'm telling you, as he was walking up, there was still boom, 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 boom. And he goes up there, nobody's walking around. The sound completely stops. This kind of stuff freaks me out. And apparently what they found out was that a guy had blown his head off with a gun. And so it was so bad that this is disgusting. But they found his brains on the neighbor's house. There you go. So they then, after this happened, they decided to go rent the house. And I guess that guy, he probably killed his whole family because, that's usually the way the story goes. And so now that it was just a common thing. They said, even in the day, out on the gravel, they'd hear the guy walking back and forth. He just walks back and forth. Do you get to choose your afterlife location? It's a very good question. I think it usually happens where you die. So maybe you have to choose where you die very well. And usually, Kamala was talking about that Casey Affleck movie, Ghost Story. Very powerful. It's really good. It's really good. It's one of those movies where, the main actor is, you don't see, he's wearing a sheet for the entire movie practically. I don't want to ruin it for you. But it conveys. That's the thing about, being at the level of Joe Fury in your acting, is it doesn't matter if you're invisible, it doesn't matter if you're wearing a mask or if you're wearing an entire sheet, you can still convey, emotion and story and all that through that. Let's see what Molte says. Hello. Oh, good. We got a comment from somebody in Twitch. He's saying, I think ghosts hang out when it's dark because they need less energy to appear. Well, that's very astute. His brain was visiting the neighbor's house. Yes. Hi, kitty cat. Okay, I'm going to look at one more comment. It's from Jenny Sykes. My aunt had to clean up brains from the shower when her tenant did the same thing as that ghost. Well, this is dark. It's a dark week. It's Paranormal Week. What could we expect? So I have another guest coming up. And so one of the things about ghosts is they like to haunt hotels, theaters. I found out theaters, a lot of ghosts in theaters. And there are a lot of ghosts in, the Comedy Store has ghosts. I don't know if you guys know this. Ginny and I and many comedians, we play the Comedy Store all the time. We don't know. It does have a sort of a ghostly feel. Like if I were to guess there were ghosts there, I would guess yes. Comedy Store is here in Los Angeles. They call it the world famous Comedy Store. This is behind me is the original room. This is the room where, Robin Williams and Jimmy J.J. Walker and Sam Kinison and all these people, David Letterman, that's where they got their start. And there are ghosts there, but there's only one comedian ghost, apparently. The guy, Steve Lubinsky, he was a comedian during in the 70s. And in 1979, they had a strike at the Comedy Store. And they were trying to get paid because a lot of the comedians weren't getting paid, or were getting paid very little, and that they felt like the club was making all this money, so they had a big strike, and it was a big deal. But this guy, Steve, at the end of the strike, wasn't getting the stage time that he used to be getting, and he was supposed to be on The Tonight Show, and then it got canceled, and he got very, very frustrated and did the thing, which is, what they call a temporary solution to a permanent solution to a temporary problem, which is to jump off the roof of the Hyatt next door. He jumped off this roof, landed in the parking lot of the Comedy Store. I think he wanted to land on the roof maybe, but, couldn't maybe jump that far. Jumped from the 14th floor, landed, and now he haunts the place. And yes, Pam, he is funny as a ghost. I think so. They even did a show about the Comedy Store, and he was in it. Or he wasn't in it, but there was an actor portraying him. Jim Carrey wrote it. It was called I'm Dying Up Here, I think. Anyway, so he's one of the ghosts there. And then there apparently Sam Kinison, some people think they've seen him. I got to get some experts on this show. But the other thing about it is the Comedy Store used to be this place called Ciro's. And Ciro's was a very famous club. Everybody, before the Comedy Store, this is in the 40s and the 50s. And at Ciro's, I think Bugsy Siegel owned the place or something. This is comedy. This is not history. But I'm giving you a little history thing here. So everybody went there. Everybody went to this club. Emo Phillips haunts that place, yes. Well, there's a lot of living comics that haunt that place. So desperate and horrible way to go. Oh, yeah, we won't even talk about it. This is such a dark show. When does the ghost move on to the next stage? It's a good point. Well, some people say that they saw Sam Kinison hovering upside down over this stage behind me. And at Ciro's, there's a lot of ghosts that carried over from Ciro's because Ciro's had a lot of mobsters there. And there were two guys in particular that were hitmen. And they're pretty sure that those guys haunt the Comedy Store. And then also this is really dark, that there's a place called the Belly Room, which is upstairs where you do comedy. A lot of us have played the Belly Room. And the story goes that used to be a place they did backroom abortions. Yeah. And the woman who was tasked with this, she died and she haunts the place. And also somebody who was a victim of a failed abortion, a woman who died apparently back then. This is all lore. But anyway, those two women haunt the Comedy Store. And then I guess, they brought in somebody a medium or something, who could come in and talk to the ghosts and told some of them, hey, it's okay, you can leave. And they left. Oh, Ganell, don't go back to bed. We've got Shannon Heil coming on. Yeah, this is heavy duty. So we got to lighten things up. I was going to show you some photographs of actual ghosts, because the thing about ghosts is they don't scare me in the concept of ghosts. Hey, Simpy Ranking, Thanks for bringing the charm. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Follow me on Twitch. Lunch Therapy, Joel Marshall. So I was going to show you these pictures. So the thing about ghosts is, in concept, to me, they're just kind of fun to talk about. But last night I started looking at some photographs of actual ghosts. And I got scared. I got really scared. And you know what it is? You know how I can tell when a ghost is scary? I start to tear up. Like if I look at a photograph of a ghost, and it looks, I get all. And so last night I was looking through all these pictures because I wanted to show them to you guys. And, I'm like, is that real? That seems fake or whatever. I'm all like in my head about it. And then all of a sudden I start to like tear up. And then later on that night, I thought I need to go back to my studio and make sure the doors are all shut. And I couldn't do it. I was too scared. I got so scared all of a sudden. That's the thing, is once it gets in your head. So that's why I feel like I never see ghosts, because I try not to think about that stuff. Todd says, need to accept that they're dead and it's time to move on, walk into the light. That's the thing, is they're kind of stuck here. Thanks for the info, Todd. Makes sense. Don't show. Too scary. The pictures. Oh, well, we'll show them tomorrow, maybe. Oh, so tomorrow for Paranormal Week, I was supposed to have David Arquette on the show, and he's going to be on the show in the future, so that's something to look forward to, but we had scheduling problems, and, it was me. I couldn't do it. So we're going to reschedule. He's going to be on. So instead, we're going to have comedian Harlan Gleason, which is, definitely on par with David Arquette easily. I don't want to say it's better, because that would be, David would probably feel bad, but there's a lot of ghost talk going on here. Maybe they're still here because no one cried for them. They need your tears. Yeah, maybe that's what I'm doing. Maybe I'm just trying to help them move on. All right, I'm going to move on to somebody really great here, Shannon Heil. Shannon Heil, she did a movie called The Intervention. Kamala was in it. I'm going to show you the trailer. It's a horror movie. It's a psychological horror movie that they shot up in Ojai, California. Ojai is this total spiritual, like, yoga place where you can go hang out, and there are no ghosts or anything. It's just super, super great place. But I found out that is not true. It is infested with ghosts, just like lots of places in California. So what happened is they went up and they stayed in this hotel that I was telling you about. It's called the Glen Tavern Inn. They all stayed in the hotel, and then they went to this remote house and they shot this thing. And I'm going to show you the trailer, and you'll just get an idea of how creepy it is. Maybe you can spot Kamala in there. I don't think she screams, but yeah, this is the trailer for The Intervention. We saw the final product at the Fangoria Film Festival, which was really scary. And I'm freaking out. This is a very scary episode of Lunch Therapy.
This type of intervention can be a highly charged emotional experience.
You have no idea what you're dealing with.
I know it sounds ridiculous. And what I saw
Richard Eden.
in his eyes,
He was television's
was
RoboCop.
real.
Great guy.
I didn't have any choice.
Oh, look at that. Oh, upside down, people. It's always scary.
Matt may become very defensive. You need to be prepared for that.
There's Kamala. Oh. Okay, I'm obviously freaking you guys out way too much. I'm not even going to be able to get to the Shannon Heil part. So this is a cliffhanger. We're going to bring her on tomorrow. Basically, what I'm saying is Shannon stayed in the Glen Tavern Inn. Kamala stayed in the Glen Tavern Inn. They shot this really, really scary movie, and there were a lot of ghosts. And that's the setup for the interview tomorrow with Shannon Heil. Oh my God. I'm scared. This is a scary week. I mean, we're just going to have to, it's not anywhere near as scary as regular life. Let's face it. That hotel was haunted. So come back tomorrow. We're going to have Harlan Gleason. We're going to have Shannon Heil. We're going to have no Jared Leto. But someday we're not going to have Jared. We're not going to have David Arquette, but he's on his way. So just to make things a little bit happier, we're going to do a dance break because that's what we do at the end of the show. I really dig these people. The other day, let me just look at some comments here. Too scary. Yada, yada, yada. What is the point of this? There's a point? The point is free in the mind. The rest will follow. Did we get out of Alaska yet? If Camel is scared, I'm scared. Everybody's scared. We're all freaking out. Anybody crying out there? Anybody tearing up? What happened to the hummingbirds? All right, we're moving in. This is just fun, this part. That yesterday I showed that Sasquatch person dancing around singing 9 to 5, the Dolly Parton hit. And, while I was looking at that, I thought, well, there's got to be somebody that covers that song. So here they are. They're really good. This is going to cheer you up, get you out of bed. Call Tom Kearney if you need some happiness. I'll give you his number. Here we go.
I tumble out of bed and I stumble to the kitchen. Pour myself a cup of ambition. You're stretching, trying to come to life. I jump in the shower, my blood starts pumping. Out on the streets, the traffic is jumping. Folks like me jump from 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living.
I don't know if you guys know this song.
It's all taken
Good one.
and no giving.
Right? This woman has a voice. These people are having fun. There's no ghosts in this. In fact, I'm blocking the bass player. I'm gonna go away. See you tomorrow for more scary stuff.